So, are you a man? If you're a woman, that's okay. Uh, Circumcision happens to both. I know the female circumcision has been outlawed in most cultures, but some women still do take pride in having been circumcised. Apparently, they cut off something, I don't know what, because for men, they chop off my foreskin on my private organs. So they chop off the foreskin and they leave the head of the organ exposed. I don't know what they do for women. Apparently, they cut something. I don't know what they cut. But yeah, I'll not focus on that today. I don't know much about it, and I would be misleading if I started talking about it. But I want to focus on men's circumcision. Before I got circumcised, like I didn't know what circumcision was. At least I thought I did, but I didn't know what it was. It's kind of a taboo. The topic of circumcision in my community is a taboo in such a way that if you're circumcised, you're not supposed to tell anyone about your experience. You're not supposed to tell this experience to an uncircumcised person. They're supposed to experience it firsthand. Like every experience is supposed to be unique to that individual. They're not supposed to have an idea of what's going to happen. So when I thought of it, because I heard there was some cutting involved. I thought they chop off your entire organ. At least that's what I thought. I had never seen a circumcised person naked, so I didn't know whether they actually have the organ or not. So in my mind was you are chopping it off, and I thought I would end up being like a girl after that point. And I thought all men do that after circumcision. It's just uniform now. There's no external organs for anything after that. But I was shocked. I was shocked during the circumcision process. I thought he just pulls the foreskin up and then takes some scissors and starts cutting. He put some anesthesia, but I wasn't feeling the anesthesia. So I was making some noise at that time. And the doctor is like, no, 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 you're a man. Don't make any noise. And he was very angry at me for making noise. The doctor himself was performing circumcision. So I had to take in the pain like a man. I did. And I shut up. I felt every little movement of the scissors on my skin. And I waited. My eyes closed until it was over. Yeah, he first started with injections. First, injecting the organ just felt not natural at all. I know that's the only way you could get the anesthesia in, but it felt like something that shouldn't happen. But then it was over and everything, and I went back home. But there's something special or something weird, I would say, about the circumcision process. It's a sign. It's a sign of maturity. It's a sign that you have moved from childhood to adulthood. Like it's a transition. It's an initiation, as I would say. That's the right word to use. And I've never understood the person who came up with this idea. Because I feel like they were psychotic. There was some psychotic individual suffering from some serious mental illness, I would say. Worse than schizophrenia. I have schizophrenia. Worse than schizophrenia. Because how on earth do you come up with the idea that for someone to be a real man, you need to chop off some skin from them? Yeah. Some tribes do other things like removing front teeth and stuff, piercing ears and hands and all that. Yeah, some tribes do other things. But who came up with the idea of chopping someone else's skin? And why do they specifically chop your private part skin? How does it help? I don't understand. I know it's a sensitive organ. It's a very sensitive organ, especially the head of it is very sensitive before circumcision. And after circumcision, immediately, like the first few days, it feels totally unnatural. Like the air blowing through it just makes it feel like it's getting dry and crimpled up and everything. And it feels too sensitive even for the clothes to touch at that time. So I'm like, this was not supposed to be something natural. Yet it's even in the scriptures, like the sign, like in the Jewish tradition, apparently, it's a sign that you are God's people, something like that. That God instructed them to cut off the foreskin. Some people, some tribes or some communities chop off the foreskin as early as days after the baby is born. So I'm wondering if God really wants the foreskin off, why were we born with it? What was the purpose of it? Because it seems useless. You can live with it for 8 days without it for from 8 days old until you're 100 years old, and it's okay. But why do you have it? And why was that person so obsessed? Why not chop off one finger? Maybe the pinky finger doesn't look very useful. Or maybe pluck off the nails or something like that. Or maybe shave the eyebrows. Things like that. Or maybe do a mohawk on your head to show. Some people shave their entire heads to mourn or something like that. You could do a mohawk to prove that you have transitioned into the next stage. Or a tattoo, a tribal tattoo, I would say. Something that makes sense. What are you doing to the private organs? And it's a sign, like it's a big sign of respect, I would say. They have a very in my community, this is a very derogatory term for anyone who is not circumcised. And it's derogatory, I say it's used to put you down. And it elicits some very serious reactions, some very violent reactions from people if you dare use that word on them. And I'm not saying it angers people who are circumcised. It angers even those who are not circumcised. Even kids who are like in my community we circumcised around the age of 14. So if you call an 8-year-old kid who is not circumcised that word, they're going to beat you up if you are small. Pray to God if you're smaller than them and you're calling them that word, they're going to beat you the hell out of you, even if it's true that's the word that fits them. They are calling to someone who is actually circumcised. Now that's pure war. And no one is going to save you from that war. It's similar to calling an African American in on the American soil the N word. You try that. You try that. I have seen the reactions. I don't have those reactions. The N word doesn't mean so much to me as someone who has grown most of my life in Kenya. It doesn't affect me because I wasn't really affected by the conditions that affected them. I'm talking about slavery. My ancestors were never really enslaved, and that term was a derogatory term used by the slave masters to put down their slaves and make them feel like less of human beings. So it doesn't affect me. But there's this word that really hurts, being called uncircumcised. And I wonder, why does it hurt so much? Circumcision has so much weight in it. You have transitioned from being a child to being an adult. Like one day after circumcision, like the following day, before, like 2 days ago, you're okay being acting like a child. Everyone would be like, you're a child, it's okay, continue acting the way you're acting. One day after circumcision, everyone expects you to be an adult. It's like all your childhood is compressed into that foreskin. All the stupidity in your mind is compressed into that foreskin. All the morality and lack of knowledge and lack of wisdom is all concentrated on that foreskin. And when you chop off, it all goes away. One day later, everyone expects you to behave like an adult. People are complaining about me. Like I used to wear shorts all the time as a kid. That's normal. Then, like a week after circumcision, I decided to put on a short. Then everyone is on my neck. Why are you wearing a short? You're not a kid anymore. You are an adult. What message are you sending to the kids? I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm just wearing a short. Why did circumcision become such a serious thing? I don't understand. The logic behind it doesn't make sense to me. And even in relationships, like as a 13-year-old, I was told to stay away from the girls, like stay away. Yeah, that was the rhetoric for everyone. But one day after they asking me, who is your girlfriend? I'm like, I never had one for that entire time. I was told to stay away from. How do you expect me to have found one day after circumcision? Apparently, some like when you're circumcised, you also you can't sleep in the same house as your parents. They have to build you a house outside of your parents' house. So they built for me a small room with a bed on it, some place, a small table and everything. So apparently, my parents were very strong Christians, so they wouldn't allow this. But apparently, after you're circumcised, like one day after, they would bring a girl in there just to show you that you're a man now, you can do these things. And it's still painful. So they want you to experience the pain, the intercourse pain it has not healed yet. I don't think that's healthy, but they do that. Apparently, they also bring you things like cigarettes and alcohol and all that. But my parents wouldn't allow anyone to come into my room, so I didn't go through that. But those are some of the things that go on through. But I wonder why? Why is chopping the skin such an important thing? And when I thought, like, There's a lot of disrespect for people who are not circumcised. Like if you're a 30 or 20-year-old man who is not circumcised, you will not be respected by anyone. Even the kids will not respect you. And it will be justified. No one will complain. They're like, as long as you're not circumcised, doesn't matter whether you're 70 or 80 years old, you deserve no respect. You are still a boy. You're not a man. And that 14-year-old circumcised boy is a full grown man by all standards. It's such a deep tradition. And when I saw these people protesting that circumcisers should be jailed or something like that, I felt it. I felt their frustration. I'm like, I agree with that. It should be in the constitution. I don't know whether we should end circumcision because I feel some fear in myself. Like I want to say let's end circumcision, but there's some fear in me that if someone sees this video out there, me saying we should end circumcision, it might imply to them that I want to be disrespected. They might start calling me that name that we used to call people who are not circumcised. Yeah, they might start doing that. And it hurts me. I don't know why it hurts so much. Because I know I'm not. If they call me that, I know I'm not. But why does it hurt so much? The thought of being called that word that I'm not going to mention. If you are Kenyan, you probably know. Uh, it feels bad. I feel like rising up in arms and hitting these people. And you know there are consequences for hitting people. Very serious consequences. Some people have gone to jail for doing exactly that. They just threw you one punch, and the person was suffering from some illness which just required one punch to end their life. And then you're in prison for murder or manslaughter or something like that. Just because you reacted to someone calling you a name. But I can't let anyone call me that name. My skin is chopped off. Even when it was not chopped off, I would not let anyone call me that name. I would be angry at any adult who would call me that name. I would fight any kid who would call me that name. I fought. I fought to ensure I was respected. And the only way I would be respected as a man is if my skin was chopped off. So what do you think about this? Because I actually thought, like, but that is my mindset for everyone. You know, I met some tribes which don't circumcise people. Yeah, and it was a shock of my life. I'm like, you can't be you can't be hanging out with me here. Because when you're circumcised, you're not allowed to hang out with people who are not circumcised. But that's a tradition for the community I was in. Now I was dealing with an intercommunity conflict because I felt this person who is not circumcised has no right to be talking to me, has no right to be walking with me, has no right to be involved with me in any way. He should find other people who are not circumcised like him. I was segregating people based on this small practice of chopping the their skin. And even for even out not just those I'm talking about mostly black people and communities within the black people, like other races, like the white community. I know some do circumcise, but there's a great majority who don't believe in it. And I see these things, I see them, I'm like, you're a child. Like it's a 40-year-old who is not circumcised. I'm like, you're a child to me. And it feels normal, it feels okay for me to see them that way. I have no respect for them, and I can't have any respect for them no matter how hard I try. The brainwashing, like I've been brainwashed a lot by the Western culture, but this one stuck. I look at someone who is not, and I'm like, no, I can't respect you. I can't see you as a man. It doesn't matter how big your beard is. It doesn't matter how big your mustache is. It doesn't matter how strong your back looks, how muscular you are. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how fast you can run. It doesn't matter how tall you are. It doesn't matter how intelligent you are. It doesn't matter how wise you are. Nothing really matters as long as you have that skin on you. No, you are a substandard human being. You're supposed to be worshipping those who don't have that skin as if it's an achievement. What's the achievement in it? Tell me. Someone correct me and tell me what I'm missing. I don't get the tradition. I don't get it, and I participated in it while I was still young, and I perpetrate the stereotype to this day. What's wrong with me?